This is the tutorial for Problem Solving Connections Chapter 2 Part 3. And so again, this is the problem in which we are looking at three different kayak companies, and this is Company B, and these are their costs. And so it says at Shop B, the cost Y of renting a kayak for X hours is given by this equation. So Y represents the cost, so cost right here goes with the Y value. And then the X represents the number of hours you're going to use this. And so that part right there goes in place of that X. And so if we want to find a certain amount of money that it costs for, let's say, 10 hours worth of use, we're going to plug the 10 in for X and then do the operation and see what the eventual cost or the total cost would end up being. And that's what we get to do in Part 1 here, or Part A. It says, is the ordered pair 10, 75 a solution of the equation? Well, again, the first number in the ordered pair is always your X value. The second number is your Y value. So what we're going to do is take our equation, Y equals, and then we had 6X plus 5. And so we're just going to substitute those numbers in there. So 75 represents the Y value, which is the total cost, we're saying. And that'll equal 6 times the number of hours plus a $5 extra fee. And so if it's going to be a solution, that means it's going to be an equality, which means that this answer, when we do the order of operation, will equal 75. But, however, when we go ahead and do the work, we see 6 times 10 makes 60, plus 5 gives me 65. So I see that these two numbers do not agree. Therefore, 75 or 10, 75 is not a solution. So we just have to write that out in words. So I would say no, 10, 75 is not a solution of the equation, and then you just name the equation by the Y equals part, and so it's Y equals 6X plus 5. So it's not a solution of that equation because, and then we just explain what we did, because when 10, 75 is substituted into the equation, it does not yield an equality. So the answer, once we go ahead and plug in those numbers, we saw that it didn't equal that 75, it equals 65 instead, so that means it's not a solution. So the next part asks us to make a table of values. So note again that the X value is the number of hours, Y value is the cost. So all we're going to do is take those numbers and plug them into this equation, Y equals 6X plus 5. So a good way to do that is just to make a little chart. We've got our X value, then we've got the rule. The rule is just what Y is, so 6X plus 5. And then from there we're going to get our Y values. And these are the answers to what we'll put in here. So we just plug those numbers in. So if we put 1 hour in for X, I try to do this step in my head. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 5 gives me 11. So the first number would be 11. Then I take the next X value, which is 2, and I plug it in for X. And I need to multiply by 6, so I get 12 plus 5 gives me 17. So my next answer is 17. And then I take the 3 hours, put that in for X. 6 times 3 gives me 18, plus 5 gives me $23. That's the cost for 3 hours. And then for 4 hours, do the same thing. 6 times 4 gives me 24, plus 5 gives me $29. So for 4 hours worth of rental, it is $29. And 5 hours, substitute that in, we get 6 times 5 is 30, plus 5 gives me $35. So $35 for 5 hours, a 5-hour rental. So the next part says, well, take these values from this chart and make ordered pairs out of them. So ordered pairs, again, are x comma y. So we have 1 comma 11, just put parentheses around it, and just keep on doing that. So 2 comma 17, and then you have 3 comma 23, and you got 4 comma 29, you've got 5 comma 35. So then the next part says plot these ordered pairs on the coordinate plane and then describe the graph. So there's one error in here I need to fix. So it looks like when I was making this graph, I'm going up by 10s, so I'm skipping each interval is by 5s, but I wrote the 10s down. But right here it goes 40, and then this would be 45. This should be a 50 here, so I need to change that. So that's our 50. And so let's go ahead and plot these points. So for 1, we go up 11. Now 11 is just above the 10, so 1 is going to be in between 0 and 2 here. And then 2, 17. So there's 15, 16, 17. So it's going to be pretty close to right in the center of that box there. And then 4, or actually 3, that was supposed to do 2 next. So let me fix that. So let's go ahead and redo that one. So that one is 217, so it's about right here. And then we had 323, so it's about right there. And then 4 over 4, and then up 29, so it's right below the 30 mark. And then 535, so over 5 and up 35, it's going to be right there. And that's the points we have, so we'll go ahead and draw the line. And that's what we've got. And so it says, describe the graph. Well, the graph is an increasing line. So as the line goes uphill from left to right, it's increasing. If it was going the other direction, it would be decreasing. And so now we just need to let the reader know what that represents. So it's an increasing line. And then we'll state as the number of hours increases, the cost of rental also increases. So then the last question asks us, explain how to use the graph to find the cost of renting a kayak from shop B. So let's take a look at the graph again. And I'm going to take that graph and see if I can copy it over. So you can see it at this stage. And when I look at it, I'm going to extend it up a little bit. Extend it up, continue going, and this is what the graph would look like. So typically when I try to find from the graph how to register how much 10 hours is, I go over to 10, and then I go up all the way until it touches. So it looks like it touches somewhere up here. And then I go over straight across to the y-axis, and then I read off what that number is. So I just need to specify that in words. So basically go to the 10-hour mark on the horizontal axis. So we just went over to the 10 mark on the horizontal axis, then go vertically. So vertically means straight up from 10-hour until you reach the line. then go horizontally to the vertical axis, or the y-axis I'll call it this time, and read the number. Which will be the cost of rental. So again, when you're explaining this stuff in words, you're just taking what you just did, go over to the 10-hour mark, go vertically up until it reaches the line, and then go straight across until you get to that, and then read the number. So this is 60, and so this is going to be about 65 or so. If I had drawn it correctly, that's the number I should have gotten. So that is part 3. Good luck.